Okay, let me open our workspace folder. Yesterday we discussed about range, right? Okay, so in the range, how many variables and how many methods are there in the range class? Anyone of you? How many variables and how many methods are there in the range class? Hmm? How many variables and how many methods are there? There has three variables are there, two methods are there. One is like index method, another one is like count method. The next one is like a start, stop, step. These are the three variables or not. So range is like immutable or mutable. Range is like immutable or mutable. What is the nature? Hmm? The range is like immutable or mutable. Hmm? Range is like immutable or mutable. None of you. Immutable, right? Okay. Are you able to change once you created a range of elements? If you try to change, it is not allow you to do the change or not. So that range is like immutable nature. The next one also we discussed about the list. The next one we discussed about the list. Can anyone tell me when you can go with the list? When you can go with the list? In this case, I should have to go with list like that. Give me one example. When you can go with the list? Just think and tell. Hmm? When you can go with the list? Hmm? Don't know. When you can go with the list? Very simple, right? If you want to represent multiple values in a single variable, then you can go with the list. The best example, I want to represent my cricket team members. Then you can go with what? List. I want to represent, okay, my student names in the class. Then you can go with what? List. Okay. If you want to represent multiple values in a single variable, then you can go with list. Understood? How we can create the list? If you want to represent multiple values in a single variable, then you can go with the list. How we can create a list? By using the square brackets like this. This is one way. Another one is like create an object for the list class or not. Create an object for the list class. Here, this is my which class? List class or not? Yes or no? Now, A equals to this one. What is my A type? B equals to str of this one. Str of this one. What is my A value? Empty string. What is my B value? What is my B value? Empty string. See, here you directly created a string like this. Another way is like what? For string also, you can create an object or not. For string also, you can create an object. Okay, here B is an object of which class? String class. Here internally A also acting like what? Internally A also as an object of string class or not? Okay, it is a string object, you can say. Empty string is what? A string object. You hold what? A string object or not? A is an object of which class? Come on. A is an object of which class? String class. Here also, see, the B directly is an object of which class? String class or not? Same like that. Here also, C equals to something like this. What is my C? Hmm? C is a list. C is a list. If you observe like this, okay, if you observe this one, if I run this, what is my D? D is an object of list class. So if you see the C value, if you see the D value, both are like same only. Okay, that means internally, if you create C equals to something, I can say my C holds an object of which class? List class or not. If you observe here, list, if I call, then what it is returns? Observe, see this. It returns me what? Come on, it returns me what? It returns me what? A empty list or not. So this one value is what? Empty list. If I use directly also, that is empty list only. Here, if you, okay, observe deeply, okay, if you think deeply, see here, this is what? Empty list. If I create an object for the list class, it gives me what? Empty object only or not. So empty list means it's a list object or not. See, if I create a list object, it is gives me what? Empty like this or not. It gives me an empty like this. Yes or no? It gives me an empty like this. Agreed? All are okay? Come on. This one is nothing but an object of list class. Prove me. Is it object of list class? Okay, I can prove it. See, if I create an object for the list class, it gives me what? Empty list only, right? That means this is nothing but a list object or not. It is nothing but a list object. Understood, everyone? Come on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the remaining also same. We'll see that one later. Okay, then. How we can create a list? If anybody ask, okay, one is like you can create a list directly like this. Another one is like you can create a object like this or not. You can create an object for the list class, either this one or that one. Anything is like fine. Okay. Now, if you have an object, okay, it's like an empty. For example, if I write something like this, 1 comma 2 comma 3, it is what? A list of three elements or not. What is my A value? List of three elements. If you want a list of three elements, 4 comma 5 comma 6, if you come here, what is my B value? Okay, here what list expected at most one argument, but got like how many? Three. Got like three. Now, what is that argument? Can you check it? Now, if you come here, okay, int object is not iterable. It is like a iterator object or not. So finally, you have to give like this. Iterator object is nothing but either string you can give, either list you can give, either tuple you can give, either set you can give. Any iterable object. Int object is not iterable. This kind of error message already we discussed. Now, if you observe here, what is my B? If you observe my B should be what? A list of 1, 2, 3 or not. Understood? Some other iterable objects tell me, okay, Sachin, string is like iterable object or not iterable object? String. String is iterable object or not iterable object? String is a iterable object. Why? Because first character, second character, third character, like this, you can take it or not. See, if you give a string, it gives me a list of characters in the string or not. Yes or no? Now you can come to know like I have a string is there. I want to split that string. I want to split that string with no space delimiter. Then how we can split it? No space delimiter. If you want to split, how we can split it? With no space delimiter, if you want to split, how we can split it? Come on. Okay, in the list, just you can pass your string, then that time it is going to split as character wise or not. Understood? Agreed? Hmm? for good. Okay, so I have a list. This is my list. How we can retrieve the data from the list? Okay, either A or B, whatever it is, you can take it. Okay, how we can retrieve? So far you created a list. Now onwards I want to retrieve the data from the list. How we can retrieve the data from the list? How we can retrieve the data from the list? Hmm? How we can retrieve the data from the list? Okay, simple. By using index we can do it as like string a of 0. Okay, now it gives me what? 1. A of 1, it gives me what? Okay, a of 2, it gives me what? Okay, now a of 3, it is like out of range or not? List index out of range. Through index we can retrieve the data or not? A of minus 1, is it supports negative index or not? A of minus 2, a of minus 3, it supports negative index also or not? See, at the time of string we discussed all this stuff or not? List index out of range. Yes, ma'am. Agreed, everyone? No, tell me. Hmm? List index out of range. Okay.
Yes.
Agreed, everyone? Okay, then. This is one way. Another way also we discussed at the time of strings discussion. Can anyone guess? Retrieve the data from the string through indexing. Another one also we discussed. Anyone remember? Did you remember slicing?
Membership operator.
No, slicing. Membership operator. Why? Retrieving purpose. Membership operator. Why? That particular one is a member or not? It is there or not there? You can check it. Okay, my question is what? Retrieving the data. I want the data. I'm not asking like the data there or not there. Data there or not there, you can use in, not in operators, membership operators, you can use it. But am I asking like that member there or not there? No. I'm asking that member itself. I want the data. Then you can go with what? Slicing or not. Okay. B, if I write like this, okay, syntax error. Okay, so slicing, the syntax is what? Come on, the slicing syntax is what? Slicing syntax is what? Come on, at least minimum you have to put the colon or not. At least you have to put the colon. Now, if I put the colon, then the time no starting, no ending you given. So starting is like 0, ending is end of the string. Everything you can get it or not. Okay, na? If I write starting 2, then my answer is with starts with 2, 0, 1, 2. Ending is not there. It's take end of the string or not. If I write like this, starting is what? If I write like this, starting is what? 2. Ending is what? The difference. Okay, starting 2. From 2, how many you want me to take? 0, 1, 2. How many you want me to take? The difference. 2 you can take it. So that my answer should be CH or not. If you not mention the starting, okay, then default starting is what? 0. From starting 0, 0, 4 difference is how much? 4. So that you can get the 4 or not. Now in the slicing, okay, tell me range take how many parameters? Start, come on. Range take how many parameters? Start, stop, next step, right? Here also you can use 0, comma 5. The step is like 2. Okay, if I run this one, can anyone guess what is the output? Can anyone guess what is the output? Come on. Can anyone guess what is the output? Hmm? Can anyone guess what is the output? Come on, tell me. What is the output? The last one is like a step up. The last one is like a step up. Tell me.
Yes. C.
Yes, sir.
C.
Okay, here column missing. Okay, now can I run this one? Yes, see, I. Okay, first zero starts with zero. Step two, so that you have to ignore in between, right? Okay, the difference should be like two. Yes, sir, the next one is like what? Okay, next second one. Yes, is starting. Okay, next second one. This is the one. Next second one is what? This is the first one. After that, this is the second one or not? You can take this. By default, step is what? By default, step value. One by default step value starting 0 ending 5 step 1. Step 1 is nothing but next one only can take it. Yeah. Okay, step 1 see like that. If I put like step 3, okay, yes sir. Step 3 1 2 3, where it is going to come on. Step 3 starting here 1 2 3, here it is going to take. Next step 3 1 2 3, third one is not there, so that yes it's only or not. This is the way you can retrieve the data from the list or not. Okay, one is like index, another one is like what? One is index, another one is like slicing. Another way tell me. Retrieve the data from the list. Another way. Hmm? Another way.
Loops.
By using loops, right? Simply. By using loop. For loop, tell me for var inside B, can I print my var? Can I print my var? It gives me what? SACHIN. By using loop also, we can take the data from the list. By using loop also, we can take the data from the list. Up to here, okay? Agreed? All are agreed? Okay? Okay then. Now, how many elements are the list? If my list has more than, two elements, then only I want to perform some operation. Then that time, write the condition. My list length is like greater than 2, then only do one operation, otherwise don't. How we can do it? Hmm? How we can do it? If my list has more than 2 elements, then only perform some operation. How you can write the condition? First of all, how we can find the length of the list? How we can find the length of the list? Do you know there has one predefined function is there? What is that function name? LEN or not? LEN. You can call it. You can call it if it is a function. Take exactly one argument. What is that argument? You can pass a iterable object here. A iterable object. If I pass like a 10, what happened? Okay. Object of type int has no length. This kind of error you can get it. Object of type integer has no length. Now, if I write like something like this, something like this. Now, if I run this one, observe, you can get 2. Now, can you come here? Can I pass B? Can I pass B? Now observe here. You can get like what? 6. Now write the condition. My requirement is what? Okay. If list has more than two elements. If the list has more than two elements, okay, you can do some operation. Okay. After those two elements, after this elements, after those two elements, how many members, how many elements are there? I want that elements. Okay. After those two elements, remaining elements I want. After those two elements, how many are there? How many are there? Just print it. Print. How we can. If the list has more than two elements, okay. After those two elements, how many are there? Just print it. Those two elements. After two elements, how many are there? You can print it. Tell me how we can write the code. First, this is my list. This is my list. Now, write the condition. What is the condition? If len of b is greater than 2. Okay, is greater than 2. Okay, print something like this. Now, greater than 2 or not? Yes, greater than 2. But our requirement is what? I don't want SS. So after 2, how many elements are there? Just I want those elements. I want to print those elements. Tell me how we can. It means I want the elements from here or not. So how we can get it? How we can get it? Come on, how we can get it? B of starts with 2, ends with something like this. Then that time you can get, okay, some data or not. Yes or no? Can you print the data? Can you print that data? Print of your data. Now the data should be like what? CHIN or whenever my length is greater than 2, after 2, how many are there? Just I want to get it. So after 2, how many are there? I want to take the data means, can I use slicing? You can use slicer to get the part of a list. So from where I want to start? From 2, 0, 1. Where you want me to end? End of the string, end of the list only. End here. So here data b to something like this, print to data. Print to data. So finally CHIN, you can get it. Agreed? Come on. Agreed or not? All are okay? Me? All are okay or not? Okay, so by using a length, not only find the length of the list, we can find the length of the set, the tuple, all. Okay, this is the predefined function to find the length. Okay, if I add length of true, then that object bool has no length. Integer has no length, boolean also has no length. Okay, now float also has no length. Other than this, if I write like string, okay, it is not gives me an error. Okay, if I write like a list, if I write like a list, it is not gives me an error. If I write like a set, if I write like a set, okay, set a tuple, okay, here invalid syntax, that's okay. Now this is the one. If I write like something like this, this is the one. Okay, if I write like this, number 1, it is what? Tuple dictionary, set a dictionary. Okay, name number is not defined. That's okay. Now, can I write like a string fed format? Now if I run this one, it gives me something like this. So length is not work for what? Which members? Length is not work for which members? One is like integer, the next one is like what? Float, the next one is like boolean, that's it. Okay, it is work for remaining all. Agreed? Okay then. The next one. Yesterday we discussed about one method. I asked you to analyze remaining. Did anyone do? So this is my list. This is my list. I want to perform some operations on the list. I want to perform some operations on the list. So how we can perform those operations? How we can perform some operations on the list? If you want to perform some operations, can you get okay the can you use the methods which are inside the list class? Can you use the methods which are inside the list class? Yes or no? So how we can use the methods which are in the list class? First, in the list class, how many methods are there? How we can come to know? dir of what? B or dir of what? Dir of your class also. Now these many methods are there. Yes, no? These many methods are there. Now, yesterday we discussed about the first method. Okay, tell me, what is my first method? B dot append. First thing is like this append is the member of B object or not. B object means it's an object of list class. Append is the member of the list class or not. Now, if you run this one, append is the member of list class. The member type is what? The member type is what? The member type is what? Function. So okay, you can say like a method, so you can call it. Whenever you call list, take exactly one argument, so that can I write one argument like 10. Now whenever you call a method or a function, exactly whatever immediately gives me the value, that one we can say like a written value. Is my append written anything? Otherwise, you can hold the function call or method call with one variable. Method or function call returns me the written value. So if you come to the Z, it is not written anything. If you observe the B, my 10 added in the last or not. So yes, my 10 added in the last. Now, if I write like this, B dot append, okay, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2, is it valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? Now if you come to the B, now if I run this one, yes, 100%, 100%. Okay, by seeing this one, conclude some points. Okay, now when you can go with the list, if you want to represent multiple values in a single variable, then you can go with the list. How many ways we can create a list? By using square bracket or by creating an object for the list class. Two ways you can create. How many ways we can retrieve the data from the list? One is like indexing, slicing. The next one is like what? By using loops. By using loops, you can. How many members are there in the list class? By using dir, you can see the members of the members inside the list class or not. How many members are there in the list class? How we can find the length of the list? By using len, you can find the length. Tell me some members in the list class. One is like append. Tell me something about append. Append is a method which take maximum one parameter. It is not written any value. Whatever the value you passed, that value placed in the list as a last indexed value or not, as a last element. List supports, okay, strings, numbers, and list again. That means my list contains different types of values or not, so that my list is like a heterogeneous behavior. Okay, it is like not similar kind of values. It is like allows you different kind of values also or not. List allow you to do some operations in the original list itself, not like string, not like a range. That the reason my list is like which kind of nature. My list is like which kind of nature. Come on. My list is like which kind of nature. My list is like a mutable nature or not. My list is like a mutable nature or not. Agree with that? Hmm? All are okay now? Up to here? Hmm? Any questions about the append? Any questions about the append? Okay, then. I'm going to, okay, I want to ask one question, okay? You can answer it. Okay, now? What is my y value? What is my y? What is my x? What is my y and what is my x? Come on, what is my x? What is my x? Hmm? Oh no, but I thought like x is like 1, 2, 3, but it gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? So whenever you created a list, that means it created a list object. Okay, one list object created with the content of what 1, 2, 3 or not. Now you assign that list object to whom? You assign that list object to whom? You assign that list object to whom? Tell me. You assign that list object to one more variable, y or not? One more variable, y. Yes or no? So let me draw something here for better understanding. First, you created one variable x equals to 1, comma 2, comma 3. Everyone knows this part is equals to what? This part is equals to what? It is a object of list class. Okay, similar to like this or not? Similar. Yes, no. This object you assign to whom? The list object assigned to x. So one object created like this. Object is nothing but some space. Okay. Inside that object, okay, you have what? Okay, it's a kind of variable you can say. The variable value is like what? List object. Inside that object, which values are there? 1, comma 2, comma 3. That reference, that memory referred with what? X or not? Yes or no? So what is my x value? My x has a list which contains 1, 2, 3 or not. Okay, na? The next one is like what? Y equals to, come on, y equals to x. That means assign, you assign x to y. You just assigned, already object is existed, you not created a new object. Already object, the same object only assigned to y. It is not create a new object, the same one only assigned to y. That the reason the object is one only one only, that is assigned to x, that is assigned to y. That means okay, my x and y both are pointing to the same space or not? Yes or no? Same space or not? Now whenever you do the change append, okay, now the value 4 added here. Now tell me, if I added 4, now the same location pointing with x also or not, so that my x also got reflected or not. That the reason here my x y, if you do the change, my x affected. If I do the change in the x, my y also affected. Why? Because my x y both are pointing to the same object or not. Okay, now everyone. Now I'm going to write like this. Okay, now I'm going to write like this. Okay, if do some operation append 3, will it affect on the C or not affect? Everyone knows this one. 200% it is not affect. 200% it is not effect. Why it is not effect? Here one object created, this is one object. Curly, okay, square bracket 1 2 means this is one object. Square bracket 1 2 means this is one object. Both are like different objects or not different locations it's created. Okay, now? Yes or no? Agree with me? Now C is equals to D. True or false? C equals to D. True or false? Both are like different memory locations. The content is like same, but both are like different memory locations. That the reason it is like what? False. It is like false. X is equals to Y. X, yeah. X equals to Y. True. Why? Because both are pointing to the same location or not. So my x pointing to this one, my y also pointing to this one. Both are pointing to the same location. That the reason x equals to y is like true. Okay, na? Any questions, anyone? Have any questions? Okay, then we'll continue remind things in the next session. Okay, on Monday. Thank you, guys. Just prepare all this stuff. I'm going to upload all the videos in the YouTube channel. Just you can go through this.